Thursday, August 10th, marks the deadline for veterans to apply for the PACT Act if they want back pay benefits.
Our Anna Darling joins us live in studio with more about who can get these benefits. So, Anna, who qualifies?
Yeah, Chad and Chelsea, the PACT Act allows certain veterans who have health issues due to toxic chemical exposure to get additional health benefits through the VA. I found out how the PACT Act is having an impact right here in Northwest Arkansas. When Army veteran Brian Ashby joined ROTC in high school, he had no idea where his journey in the military would take him.
Desert Storm started up, I decided that I needed to go in active duty. And so I went active duty and got stationed in Germany right away.
In January of 1991, he deployed to Saudi Arabia, working with a communications unit, installing first-of-its-kind technology that we're very familiar with today.
We set up a brand new equipment network that was actually some of the first cellular technology in the world.
He and his crew were also dealing with an invisible airborne enemy.
The burn pits, which could be anything from human waste to just the trash. And of course, you saw that being burnt, and that was really the only way you had to contend with it.
They also had to contend with oil fires.
We were close enough that at night, I think we counted 89 separate fires burning at the same time, and there were days where it completely blacked out the sun.
And that wasn't all.
My unit was downwind from the demolition of the chemical plant in southern Iraq. And we did have our chemical detectors go off.
Brian says he remained healthy for the years following his time serving overseas, but about 10 years ago, that started to change.
Asthma, the rhinitis, the sinusitis, all three of those are big contenders. Thankfully, I've not had any of the more serious cancers popping up or anything like that.
Brian's health issues qualify as presumptive illnesses listed in the PACT Act, and since he served in the Gulf War era, he qualifies to get those benefits.
The PACT Act is going to help a lot of us who have issues coming up recently.
The PACT Act is perhaps the largest expansion of benefits in VA history.
President Joe Biden signed the bipartisan PACT Act into law on August 10th of last year to help veterans who were exposed to things like burn pits, Agent Orange, and other toxic chemicals during their service. Since then, April Eilers with the Fayetteville VA says they've been racing to spread the word.
What that is an expansion of benefits for people who were in the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, and post 9/11 war. They have already earned and deserved benefits, and all they have to do is show up and sign up.
August 10th of this year is the deadline for veterans to get back pay up to 1 year, but they can still sign up after that date to begin getting benefits. The benefits also extend to survivors of veterans who have died but met the PACT Act qualifications.
What is important to us is to make sure every veteran knows about the benefits that they've earned and deserved. The last thing we want a veteran to know is, I didn't know I qualified.
There's a long list of presumptive diseases and illnesses listed in the PACT Act that range from brain cancer, gastrointestinal cancer, and lymphoma to chronic bronchitis, emphysema, and pulmonary fibrosis.
There's a lot of research that needs to be done in that field.
Dr. Blake Lockwood is an oncologist at Highlands Oncology in Fayetteville. He says a lot is still unknown about how the toxic chemicals veterans may have been exposed to impacts their bodies.
But what we do know is that there were potential for chemicals that are in these burn pits to be released, such as benzene, polycyclic hydrocarbon.
And when those chemicals get into our bodies,
they can get into the DNA of our cells and result in mutations within these cells that can drive cancer.
Dr. Lockwood shared some of the symptoms our veterans should be on the lookout for.
Unintentional, unexplained weight loss, new coughs, new pains, abdominal pains, pains in their chest or neck.
Eilers says the more veterans who take advantage of the PACT Act, the stronger message it sends to our government that this funding is necessary.
The more people we have, the more needs we have, the more we are able to give you the services that you deserve.
Brian is one of those veterans who is already receiving PACT Act benefits to help with his health issues, and he's urging his fellow veterans to do the same.
I ignored it for a long time, and now that I'm happy that I did. I say get in there and do it. Get it done.
The Fayetteville VA is hosting a Vet Fest event tomorrow. You can get connected with people who can help you sign up for PACT Act benefits or any other health services the VA provides. They will also have family-friendly activities, and it's happening from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Reporting live in studio, Anna Darling, KNWA, Northwest Arkansas News.